Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
Come down for them. Got to come down for them to sit down to become Canadian champions again. And 5 for Gushue.
Paul, are you ready for more curling?
More curling. Always ready for more curling. Always.
Have you rested up from the Brier?
No,
That was
no,
emotional for you.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Because first I was, rooting on Team Nova Scotia with my son Luke.
Right.
And every game I was on the edge of the seat. And then the rest of the curling was so dramatic and intense that you were just, I was on edge.
You were lost for words. You
So
were
were
lost
you.
for words. I am finally caught up. I'm ready for more curling. The Women's World's coming up. We're going to get to that in a second. But of course, Brad Gushue, the only skip ever to win 5 Brier titles, call so clinical, so in control. And when he got through those early challenges at Game Rust he told us about on this show, you just kind of felt like, okay, here he goes again.
Even when he was talking about his transition at the Brier, when he felt like he was a little slow to the gate, and then Mark Nichols and E.J. Harnden started bringing the run-back doubles and triples, and he said his shots were almost easy. No shot looked easy to me that he was throwing, but anyhow, they were just on fire, amazing.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about this call. It took Brad Gushue 13 trips to the Brier before he won his first, and now he's won 5 in the last 7 years. You have to learn how to lose before you can win,
So
and you saw how much this meant to Matt Dunstone. 2 bronzes and a silver. Now he's getting closer. I couldn't sleep after all of it, Call. So what I started to do, because you're such a champ, I watched every one of your Scotties wins, and then I went immediately to the post-game interviews to take a listen to what you said after that. Something really stuck out to me after the 1999 win, 17 years later, after your first win in 1982. I think it's such a powerful message. I think it's something Matt Dunstone could listen to, because delay is not defeat. Take a listen to this.
An outturned nose hit. A trip to the World Championship.
Colleen Jones.
Yep.
Out of her hand, Delahunt. Way trying to hold it for her. Kim Kelly urging them on. They can't afford to roll. Gotta sit right there. Don't roll.
A week of emotions. A lifetime of emotions. All bundled up into those small frames.
But I also have to say, on behalf of my team, there have been times in our career that we stopped dreaming the dream, and we never let it go, though. Right. And I think we are proof that if you can do it, anybody can do it. If you have the determination and the guts and never quit, you can be here.
Wow.
That kind of gave me goosebumps, especially all that screaming too. It was 17 years between my 1982 win and my 1999. I did a whole lot of losing and learning in those years. And also admiring the teams I was losing to, like Connie Laliberty and Sandra Schmirler, Julie Sutton, Kelly Law. So many great teams that I lost to. And every time you just kept learning. And I think that's sort of important for all curlers to remember. There's a lot of other good teams when you get to the Scotties or the Brier.
And there's a lot of curling ahead for Matt Dunstone, and there's no question. I think a lot of people agree that his time is coming. I just wanted to point that out because it's such a great message from you. You're such a champion, and even Gushue said he wondered if his time would ever come. So there's a lot there when you're determined, when you have a lot of guts, and you never quit. And you never quit, Call. You never quit. We've got a jam-packed show call, obviously digesting the Brier. We're going to talk to Reid Carruthers and Cole. I think he might have some news.
I love news.
Some breaking news. Some hot off the press, only on that curling show.
Hot off the press.
And we're obviously going to talk or show our interview with David Murdoch from the Brier. Probably we should bring Mike onto the show. Mike Harris.
Let's have Mike.
Let's have Mike.
We saw him at the Brier a few times.
Yeah.
He looked good behind the bench for Northern
He really
Ontario.
did. And at the patch, we were at the patch. The video footage from that has been lost. But we do have video footage, Call, of our crokinole. Not crokinole, it's crocacurl.
Crocacurl. We think it should be the next Olympic curling sport added to the menu. That was fun.
Get ready, curling fans. Full steam ahead. Buckle up. Enjoy the show. Cole, I love this color palette for you.
It's matching the.
Yeah,
matching.
you are matchy over there. All right,
the curling rings.
The curling rings. Let's rock and roll. Team Anderson called making a third trip to the Women's Worlds. You've been there 6 times. And I just wonder if you have any quick thoughts about Anderson as they're already in Sweden. They're getting ready to rock.
You know what? They had incredible Scotties, didn't they? They look so strong. And every year, as they put together their 4 Scotties title, they seem just to keep adding something to the toolbox. They get that little bit better. Their bronze last year in Prince George was a big win for them.
It was.
And now, of course, going into these World Championships, I think they believe they can win. Sometimes you need a test run at the Worlds. Keep in mind the other teams that are at the Worlds, Devin, they're going every year. They get used to it.
Right.
This is an opportunity for Carey and company to do what they can do, which is curl great and free and win it. They start against Sweden, by the way.
Yeah, I know, and we're going to get into it right now because the man behind the bench, of course, he was at the Brier doing a little bit of double duty. We're going to bring in Reid Carruthers, of course, because I think, Reid has played such a big role in the evolution of this team. They seem, at least from my perspective, so much more ready to meet the moment. They seem so calm in pressure-packed situations. And if we know anything about Reid Carruthers, he's a pretty cool customer, isn't he?
He is, isn't he?
Reid-a-rama. There he is. Hey.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready.
Colleen was just talking about the fact that you open up against Sweden. Reid, welcome to the World Championship against an Olympic champion. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, in, I believe, their home city, too. I believe that's the city that they curl out of. So, yeah, there's going to be some pressure there. Welcome to the World Championships, and throw in the fact that they're actually playing 1 game before us. We have the first draw off.
Right.
So there you go, Canada. Welcome to the Worlds.
And then it doesn't get any easier because you've got Peterson right after you have Hasselborg. But it's kind of a jam-packed field, isn't it? The regular suspects that are all so good.
Yeah, for sure. It's, I was doing the draw to the button schedule for the ladies, who's drawing when. It's a bit of a science experiment just to try to figure out to get all the draws in. And I was looking at the schedule, and there's no easy games. Like it's going to be difficult. 12 games in a round robin. It's going to be even busier than what the Scotties was.
You were at the Brier. Maybe just assess your performance and what you thought of the entire event, because Colin and I think we had the best seat in the house, but that was some out of this world curling down the stretch. Yeah,
it was. And I'd like to say 2 things. One, hat tip to Matt Dunstone and their team. They're our provincial rival. Playing against them, I feel like we bring out the most in each other. And, I watched them put on an elite performance at this Brier. I thought they were awesome. Feel bad that they lost to, one of the GOATs, obviously, in Brad. Brad and team, hat tip to them, obviously, 5-time Brier champion. And have a realistic chance of going out and winning the gold, in my opinion. And as far as my team's performance, I feel like my team's kind of weathered the storm. We had a player change come end of December, and to just earn our right to be in the Brier was a huge honor. And I feel like we gave it our all. Obviously, I'd like some shots back from the actual Brier myself, but we had some good games with some of the best teams in the country.
So now what? So now what, Reid?
Yeah, well, now I'm heading to Worlds. I would like to share one interesting tidbit that I'm super excited about, and that's that I'm bringing my coach Rob Meekin along with me to work with the ladies team. We had a last-minute drop from one of the Curl Canada coaches that was supposed to come with us. Jeff Hoffert was going to come, but due to a couple of other commitments, he couldn't make it. So we were looking for a last-minute fill-in. And, I've been working with Rob now for 8 years on my team. He's actually coached Brianne and Kristen previously. And he brings an elite veteran experience. He knows how to keep everyone on task, but also keep the mood light. So I'm really excited about bringing him to the fold. And I think that will be an excellent experience. And, with that said, there's been lots of discussions with Coach Rob on and off the sheets over the last couple of months. And yeah, we have some exciting news to drop. And that's why I was hoping you'd bring me on the show today.
Wow.
Well, we're holding our breath. Don't keep us in suspense.
Don't keep us in suspense, Reid. You know we love the drama on the show. I thought this man that we're seeing right now was out of the mix.
Do you
Tell
remember?
us
He was
about
retired.
it. We thought he was retired. Tell us about it.
Who, you thought I was retired?
I thought you were retired.
I've never once used that word. Just for the record,
We're going to have to go back and get the tape.
I don't ever remember using that word. I'm ready to kind of just take a break. That's all.
Either did Tom Brady.
Yeah, I am no Tom Brady, that's for sure. But it's been an interesting season for myself and obviously Reid. And we had the opportunity to get together and play Reid and what was it, Camrose there, and we had a lot of fun. And I kind of figured I didn't really want to enter back into the men's game, at least until 2023. I certainly didn't expect to be playing at all this year, but lo and behold, Reid needed a guy and I was available. I'm kind of ready to get back into this thing full swing, and there's a really good opportunity here with Team Carruthers.
Wow.
Who plays where?
Yeah, well, isn't that the
Who's
question?
on first?
Who's on first?
Yeah, we're gonna keep the same lineup that we had in Camrose. So I will be skipping, throwing last rock. Brad will be throwing third. One of the things that I found really interesting about being out there is we just felt like we immediately clicked, and we were also learning from each other in that moment. Brad's obviously a student of the game, so some of the things that we've done in the off season with sweeping and testing, he was right in there and soaking it up like a sponge. And obviously, his approach to the game is won him numerous championships. So I feel like, he's adding just a wealth of knowledge to the team. And I feel like our mindsets going into, this upcoming season are very similar, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. And we had some really interesting discussions. I roomed with them in Camrose off the ice. On the ice, obviously it felt great, but off the ice, it was the same sort of thing. And I think that was important for both of us. We're at that stage in our careers where we want to enjoy ourselves and not just have it feel like a business out there all the time. And, I feel like we're kind of looking for the same thing. And that was one of the most important pieces of the puzzle for both of us.
And the natural question would be, what are you looking for, gentlemen?
You want to answer that one, Cups?
Sure, I'll jump in. What are we looking for? Well, first of all, just to piggyback on what Reid said, he couldn't have put it any better. And I'm very much at a point in my life where enjoying the sport and clicking with a group of guys and finding that dynamic both on and off the ice is extremely important. I mean, everybody wants to win. That goes without saying, but finding, a close-knit group of guys, we spend a lot of time on the road with one another, and getting along off the ice is extremely important. And that's what I found amazing about playing with these guys. I loved how he led the team, the respect that everybody has for Reid. And, it's no secret. I skipped a long time, but I was not looking to continue to play the skip position. I was kind of done with that position. And, I know how tough it is. Every position in curling is tough, but the skip position is just that much more difficult. And it takes a special person and a personality to be able to be in that position for years and years successfully. And I have nothing but faith in Reid and this whole team. I know Connor and Derek and Rob all feel the same way. And I'm looking forward to stepping in at the third position and just doing what I can to help make the team as good as possible, make a lot of shots. And at the end of the day, we got to put Reeder on that pedestal. He's the guy that we're entrusting at that last position, and we have full faith in him, and just looking to support him and make him feel 10 feet tall all the time, buddy.
This is, I mean, you both know this is going to be huge news. How much of this was going on in the background? I mean, Brad, I would imagine that there might be a lot of shuffles like we saw last year. Reid, how much convincing did you have to do for the hottest free agent this offseason?
Well, yeah, it's no secret that, when we lost a great player in Jason, I had to fill that void with someone who's elite, and at the absolute top of that list is Brad. So, it was just a matter of whether or not, he was in. And as, you've heard in this answer earlier, obviously we were feeling kind of the same way. And, we were fortunate enough that he was able to come to Camrose, and I felt like that experience there helped all of us come to that conclusion that that's where we wanted to be. And things have been moving quickly, especially lately. But what I'll say is, in the last 48 hours or so, my phone has been ringing, which is obviously an honor. It's great that people want to curl with you, but I feel like a lot of players and teams are waiting to find out what Brad does. So I feel like this is kind of like that pin in the grenade. So as soon as this news gets out, I feel like there's going to be some movement coming in the very near future.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah,
Reid, go get them over there. I know you'll have that team ready to go. So all of Canada is behind you, and Brad's back. He was never retired, apparently. So look out.
We're going to find the tape on that. Definitely need to find the tape.
Appreciate both of you. We'll be watching. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Wow. Watch out for that.
Super team already.
Cole, you know what I find interesting? That was pretty juicy stuff from Reid about the fact that he's getting his phone's lighting up, and you've got to wonder after this, Brier, that first year after the quadrennial and all those changes, will we see more because of what unfolded this season?
It sounds like we will. And I actually thought we were going to see it after the Scotties. I mean, once Carey has set the bar here, and the other teams are trying to catch that and chase that, and if they just keep status quo without going, where was our weakness? Is that weakness on the team going to improve, or do we need to trade, change up, rearrange the order? Yeah, I could see a couple of teams on the Scotties side making changes. At least I hope they do, because it's still, rather than just gear for the next Olympics and think, how are we going to gather those points between now and then? Win now.
Win now. Win now. Well, and of course, everybody is sort of clamoring at Canada's place in the curling world, and it's going to fall on the shoulders of David Murdoch, the Scottish curler, who has taken over the reins, Call, and you and I had a chance to talk to David. No pressure, right? I mean, we're in that packed arena, seeing some of the best curling we've ever seen, and you and I are looking at each other going, what must
Nothing wrong with curling in Canada.
Nothing wrong with curling, but what must David Murdoch be thinking? Because This is a whole different thing on this side of the pond. And you were right front and center for when we got to ask him some questions.
Yeah, well, I've been watching a lot of the Scotties and a lot of the Brier back home in Scotland, and I see a lot of good things. We know our top teams, we know what they're capable of because they've had a history of great results. But I'm starting to see a lot of the these next generation teams, just how good they are. But it's interesting to explore what their capabilities could be, and what do we need to do to actually make sure they've got an incredible future ahead. So I think that's one that really interests me. So we have to be very present just now because we want to achieve medals, and that's what we need to do year in year. And obviously we've got the Olympic Games coming up in 3 years' time. But we really need to make sure we've got a pathway for success and be ready for the next cycle too. And I'm seeing some amazing things out there.
How do you protect that next generation who don't get the sponsorship dollars that the big teams get, don't get the karting? There's this big gap now between the rich and the poor in curling, and a lot of them drop out.
I think what we're seeing with the sport is there's an element of we need to do a lot in training to be ready for competition. So it's going to be an interesting one, just speaking to a lot of the teams to go, well, maybe we can't fly around the whole world, around the globe, maybe we can't go cross country, but what can we do in training? What can we do in our province? Equally, what can we do with Curling Canada or the provinces to actually help support their holistic development, technically, physically, tactically, mentally. So I just want to get under the bonnet around a few things like that to see what can we do. That's what I want to explore.
What has Scotland done so right?
I think they've looked into things like that. I think they've looked into the whole pathway from top to bottom. Just how do we view an entire pathway where we see, right, if you want to get to here, where does it start? What does it look like? What's the increments that we want to see as Curling Canada? What do we see as a top level athlete? What does it look like? If we can start to influence that from a junior level into the under 21s, U25s, keep them interested, but giving them that opportunity to do that, then I think we've got something really great because Canada's got so many curlers.
So there it is, Call. David knows he's got a big task ahead of him, but I thought he was pretty polished. I thought he seemed really ready to meet the press here in Canada.
He did, and he is a smart curling guy, and I like that he's the hire. I think we need an injection of new ideas. I loved what he said about the next generation of the young curlers. We saw them on display at the Brier, everybody from Scoffin in the Yukon to the young team in Newfoundland and Labrador. These future stars, they deserve some help. It doesn't just have to stay, I don't think, between just the top 3 teams all the time. This knowledge, we need to build bigger, better, stronger teams from every section of the country.
I think we should probably go to our resident expert,
Let's
Mike
do that.
Harris.
Who's
We've been
also
missing
in
Mike.
the Brier patch.
We saw Mike at the Brier patch. Mike has been one of those coaches who has left Canada,
Scotland,
and I blame Mike for the growth of the game around the world.
Absolutely, blame him. I like that.
Mike, some thoughts?
Well, I'll take the credit. How's that? As opposed to a blame. I like that better.
Credit.
I don't think it's, right. I mean, Canadians have been going around the world for a long time. Way back, Ray Turnbull back in the 60s started doing it, right? He started doing clinics they were giving clinics over in Europe long time ago. So, and to be frank, I mean, for many of us who aren't in the Curling Canada coaching posse, it's the other countries pay. They pay well. Your experience as a national team athlete is appreciated, and and they're, you know what, curling's curling, so they're happy to get help from anyone, I suppose. But it's an interesting thing now, but it's not unique to curling. I mean, for years, Canadians had, Swiss and Austrian ski coaches, and name another sport with whoever the best at it is in the world seems to travel around. Look at our men's and women's soccer program. Right? So, they've done wonders. So you go to where the talent is, right?
Yeah.
Or bring them to you.
What do you like about David Murdoch as the high performance director now for Canada?
He'll bring fresh eyes to the program. I think that's the number one thing. He's kind of gone through everything with Scottish curling, right from the athlete's perspective. I'm interested to see how he does with navigating the politics of the job description. As I read it, there was a lot of stuff to be done behind the scenes with Own the Podium and Sport Canada and that type of thing. So I think his role is going to be quite different from what it was with Scotland. I don't foresee him sitting on the bench, right, with the teams as he did. He kind of took over, kind of being the guy to go out with the teams during World Championships, etc. So I'd be interested to see where the dynamic falls there. But yeah, he's I think just a fresh perspective is what Canadian curling fans are hoping for. It's one of those things where he's coming in with off a great Olympic Games and a nice successful run for the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm interested to see how he does. Really,
Mike, it looked like you were in your element, both on the ice as a coach and at the patch.
Trying to find my comfort zone, Devin. I'm still recovering. You can hear it in my voice. I really enjoyed working with the guys, Tanner and Darren and Jake and Colin. They're really, really nice people, which I loved. We had a few hiccups during the round robin, which I think I helped smooth over. And we didn't have a lot of time to get. And the same thing, like exactly what you're talking about, Colleen. I didn't have a lot of time to get into the inner circle about how they prepare in terms of the technical stuff. But we had a couple of good sessions before the Brier in London at one of the clubs, where we identified a one technical issue and really sorted things out, which was great. And then I really love coaching. I mean, that's the best way to put it. I enjoy the interaction with the team. My challenge was, again, a little bit of lack of familiarity with how they would like me to broach subjects about timeouts and other things, and anything that you're dealing with from a performance based standpoint. So, there was a little bit of that unfamiliarity, but it was great. I'm really thankful for them to have asked me to join them at the Brier.
Awesome. They look terrific. What do you make of the old playoff format? Work
terrible.
Your way into the okay, let's talk about that.
No, it's terrible. There's no. Yeah, I mean, you have an elimination game leading to a non-elimination game. It makes no sense. So I think Curling Canada has to I didn't talk to one player who liked it, put it that way.
Right.
And also 4 out of 9 teams making it through a quick round robin like that. They easily would have had time to have all the top 3 qualifiers play each other on the Friday and Saturday morning. No problem. You play 2 Friday, 1 Saturday morning, and then the top 4 records go into a page game Saturday afternoon. Not difficult at all. So I think they just need to relook at that. I actually like the pools. It was a playoff format that was a challenge. And to be frank, I mean, 3 from each pool seems, when you looked at the field, you could have argued that 3 or 4 teams in each pool should have or could have gotten through. So I don't mind. We looked at it when we beat Reid Carruthers in our first game, who was the wild card team seated ahead of us. Once we won that, we knew if we kind of beat the teams that were seated ahead of, we knew we had a great chance to make the playoffs. So I think that's okay. So those games against the top seeds are critically important in the round robin. And I think to move forward and play the other 3 from the other pool would have been just as easy to do as the way they did it. In terms of timing
the way they used to do it.
And importance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the championship pool. Last few years, it's been those last 3 or 4 games in that round robin were just always great curling, and we would have loved to have had a chance to play against all 3 teams in the other pool.
Ooh, just trying to explain it to people was complicated. And we understand
maybe I get
curling.
A vote now that I work with Northern Ontario. I should see. Maybe not. I'm trying to sort that out. We'll see how that is.
Always appreciate hearing from you, Mike.
Yeah, great to see you on the weekend. By the way, it had been a while, so always nice to see both of you.
Yeah, the band was back together, and
Good
more to
seeing
come.
you.
Awesome to see you,
That's
Mike.
right.
Thanks so much.
Yes, thanks, guys. We'll chat soon.
See you. Absolutely. Caldwell, the Brier drama was playing out, and a lot of spotlight was on that. Of course, we want to make sure we give some love to our Canadian wheelchair curlers, both the 4-person and mixed doubles team taking to the ice in Richmond. What performances they put forward. The 4-person team winning a silver, the mixed double team winning a bronze. They've done their country proud, Call.
No kidding. And the 4-person team, Canada was up against China, and it was a real battle right into the last end, and they just couldn't convert at the end of the day. So, but silver, pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. And the bronze for the mixed double team of Kalinda Joseph and Dennis Thiessen, the first ever mixed doubles wheelchair curling medal for Canada. So outstanding stuff for the Canadians. But also, Call, you and I.
Oh, we think we've got a new sport.
Well, it is a new sport. It should be an Olympic sport. It turned out that you had challenged me to a croquet curl. I want you to explain it to people.
Yeah, croquet curl. Anybody that's got the crokinole board from their childhood knows it, but think about it on ice with rocks.
Right. And, get the rock in the middle on the button.
Yeah.
Easy,
yeah.
Right?
Although it was way more complicated than that. We didn't know all the rules.
We didn't know the rules. We were making it up as we were going. The crowd was amazing. My goodness. So it played out that you were challenging me, but then people caught wind of it. A couple of
Johnny Moe.
A couple of two-time Olympic champions, Donovan Bailey and Johnny Moe. Donovan Bailey might be on the next men's curling team. Maybe that's one of the names we should be watching for. But that was a lot of fun, Call, to take to the ice, and the fans were outstanding, and I think we make a pretty good team. I still think we could be a mixed doubles team.
I'm on it, okay? Let's do it.
Take a look at our form and our teamwork. There might have been some fancy editing by Call to give us a pleasurable outcome for the victory. I don't think we won. I don't think we won.
We did win in the end. Remember we did the double or nothing for the draw to the button competition.
Oh, I did it. I nailed it at the end. That was the biggest.
So good.
I don't know if my
You are so competitive. It's crazy.
I know. More competitive than you?
No, but you're close.
True. I don't know if that was the biggest moment of my curling career or if my 2 high school city championships match that.
Still that. Yay. This was fun.
Take a look.
Right, here we go. Bring it on.
Hard! Hard! Come on, baby!
We're down after
the
first
first than we
stand.
thought. I mean, who knew?
Well, no. Well, who knew Donovan Bailey would be good at sports? Shocker.
Hard! I like it! Okay. Coach, I like over there. Do you double into the button? Hard, 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 hard. I like it. I like it. We hit it, Paul. Like, we got to get them from scoring. Ah! Hard! Hard! No! 2 more ends. Hard! Hard, Cole! Whoa! Get in there! Colby, please. And then throw it across. But, big wait. Because if you knock it out, then we don't have to hit them. So hammer it. I'm gonna try. Hammer it.
I'm pretty sure we got that, Rock.
Slow down. No, we have hammer. Double or nothing, 1 end.
Okay.
Okay, love it.
just hit that one and roll in.
It's a hit and roll.
I like
40-40. Hey, Cole, I like it.
Nice game. You're good.
Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.